After getting released in a sudden and shocking manner from the WWE on November 2021, Karrion Kross is now officially back with the company. Kross unexpectedly showed up in the main event segment of this past week's SmackDown, leaving fans with a ton of questions about his new presentation in his second run. Today, we will tell you all of the details from Kross's return and his planned involvement with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, as well as the latest info on the upcoming WWE Women's Tag Team Championship tournament and some potential major returns we could see
brand
in
new
that tournament.
WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
As announced on the August 5th edition of Friday Night SmackDown, WWE will host a tournament to determine the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. The titles have been vacant for almost 3 months since former champions Sasha Banks and Naomi abruptly walked out of the company earlier this year. The announcement didn't come with many details, aside from the fact that the tournament is set to start this Monday, August 8th, on Raw. No info was given on how many teams the tournament is expected to include, or which superstars will team up to compete in it. But it seems like this move was made by design, and not by accident. One of the reasons why no bracket has been disclosed is the possibility of some surprise entrants. According to multiple reports, Sasha Banks and Naomi are expected to return to TV during the tournament, while the former women's tag team champions walked out together, leaving the titles vacant. Both are still under contract with WWE and have apparently been in communication with new Executive Vice President of Talent Relations, Triple H, who also recently assumed duties as the head booker. Banks and Naomi had voiced their frustrations with the women's tag team division to both former head of creative Vince McMahon and former EVP of Talent Relations, John Laurinaitis. But with Triple H now in charge of both of these departments, there is optimism that he will find a way to bring the boss and glow back to the company. Another surprise team that has been discussed for the tournament is the duo of Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. The former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions were a part of the Way stable, alongside Johnny Gargano and current Mr. Money in the Bank Theory on NXT throughout 2021. The group dissolved in late 2021 after Theory had been called up to Raw, and both Gargano and LeRae's contracts were coming to an end. The couple decided not to renew their deals since they were expecting their first child together. The two welcomed their newborn son in February and have remained free agents since. But with Triple H now in charge of the main roster shows, there have reportedly been talks between both sides for a potential reunion. Indy Hartwell has remained a part of NXT 2.0, while LeRae recovered from post-maternity. And with the August 8th edition of Raw coming live from Cleveland, Ohio, Gargano's hometown and the couple's resident city, it's possible we could see the team's return as early as this Monday. Raw superstar Bayley had recently commented on Corey Graves' The Bump podcast about how excited she was to start her new stable with Dakota Kai and Io Sky, hoping she could pass down some knowledge and propel them to championship-level heights. I want the tag titles to come back and play a very important role on the show, Bayley said on the podcast. Under Vince McMahon, the division was often booked poorly and was heavily criticized for the makeup of random teams with little to no emphasis on storytelling. These were some of Sasha Banks and Naomi's frustrations with the company as well. So it's safe to say Triple H is already taking matters into his own hands to improve the women's tag team division. Additionally, it's also being reported that the tournament finals are set for the Clash at the Castle Premium Live event on September 3rd, 2022 in Cardiff, Wales, so there is more than enough time to properly book the return of the women's tag team titles. Speaking of returns, we saw Karrion Kross make his surprising return to WWE this past Friday on SmackDown. For the last segment of the show, WWE Undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre were scheduled for a showdown. However, as McIntyre intended to enter the ring and get physical with the Bloodline, the lights dimmed and Karrion Kross's music started playing. we saw Scarlett appear at the top of the stage and Kross attacked McIntyre from behind as the Scottish Warrior expected him to emerge from the entrance ramp as well. This left fans with many questions, as the build-up for the battle for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship between Reigns and McIntyre at Clash at the Castle had already begun, and now Kross has suddenly interjected himself into the equation. On Friday afternoon, Fightful Select reported that there had been conversations between Kross and Triple H about a potential reunion, but there didn't appear to be any concrete plans for his return. As it turns out, it wasn't too long before the news became official, but Kross' involvement in the showdown between the Tribal Chief and the Scottish Warrior still left a lot of unanswered questions. In a further update to the original Kross report, it's being said that his involvement in the Reigns-McIntyre angle is designed to have Roman drop one of the two titles, presumably the WWE Championship, in what will become a triple threat match at Clash at the Castle, where only the WWE title is on the line. Under triple threat rules, the champion can lose his title without being pinned or submitted, which allows Roman to drop the title without losing it himself. The idea is having Drew or Kross win the title and move it back to Raw in the upcoming WWE draft. There had already been previous reports about USA Network officials demanding a World Championship return to Raw, since Roman Reigns rarely showed up on Mondays, and the show had been missing a world title feud since the Tribal Chief unified the belts at WrestleMania 38. It's also being reported that Triple H isn't a huge fan of unified championships either, as Raw currently only has the United States and the Raw Women's Championships active on their roster for a whole 3-hour show. USA Network officials had also pitched an interim world title for Raw, but the idea was apparently shut down by WWE, and they're still deciding how to take one of the belts from Roman without hurting his 2-year-plus undefeated reign, pun intended, of dominance. No matter what ends up happening in the world title scene, it's great to see Karrion Kross back in WWE after a surprisingly short main roster stint on Raw that saw Vince McMahon repackage him almost fully from his NXT presentation. Kross had barely spent 2 months on the main roster before Vince McMahon made the call to release him and his real-life wife, Scarlett, who never appeared alongside Kross in his first main roster run. Karrion Kross is another Triple H guy, as proven by his extremely dominant NXT run. And unlike the first time he was brought up to the main roster, there seem to be concrete plans for him in place. And not just any plans, but big-time plans. It'll also be very exciting to see what surprises the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament has in store for us, as we have already seen Triple H's influence reflected all over the WWE product since he stepped into his new role as head of creative.